they should be going. And now we're getting into tank picks here for the first
Yeah.
match. Jack's AFK.
First match, and it is do or die time for some of these teams.
Correct.
We saw the standings before. Jack's AFK still in first place, but like we said, all 5 teams remaining, besides No Hard Feelings, are really, I mean, within a match day of overtaking each other. And these are the tank picks. That's the on top. You can see first team picks 2 on attack, then the defending team picks 4. Attacking team then has 3 picks. Defending team has 2. Then the attacking team gets the final tank pick, and they can see what the other team are picking. So there's offers or options for counter picks and the like.
So going into tank picks really quick, FHS brings 1 Kron, a Super Conk, 113, 2 VZs, and E5. Very, very heavy, but also light in a way. And then you have Jack's AFK on attack, IS7, Super Conk, a Bad Chat STB, VZ55, and a Kronwagen.
A one of. I still don't know whether I like one of tank things or not, because sometimes it just becomes unless they're really specific positions, but it also maybe helps to not give away exactly what you're going to do. But everyone's moving at just slightly different speeds. But
FHS
we're getting into the first round.
Have vision with this setup, unless like the E5 has like optics or something. Because you wouldn't
remember in the 15 on 15, or was it 14 on 14? Knight and their team, to varying levels of effect, ran full heavies on steps to try to change the meta, and sometimes it worked out beautifully, and sometimes it did not. Kind of
like
at the time, but that was a different type of format than 6-on-6. That was look, we're just going to simplify. We're not going to let it be a vision game, and if you bring light tanks and the like, we're just going to have all these IS-7s or these type of vehicles and just win the fight. And actually,
it looks like they're
high in E5.
Yeah, correct. With also the VZs kind of sitting there with them. Brett looking to try to get some vision here, though he doesn't have vision equipment, but most Bad Chats don't any day. And plus probably with this loadout, I mean, he probably has over 470 easily, maybe even 480.
This is actually a little interesting because it looks like FHS have done their homework, because the route they took, because he doesn't have vision equipment, he's not going to be able to spot from where he was. They didn't just run down the rails. They're all hiding in a complete and total trap. That is a 100% trap in full heavies.
And I think the reason why this is such... Ooh, did he get blind fired?
He did. It was a ricochet. It either hit his gun barrel or something, but he did get blinded. But no one made... I mean, I don't know if they've communicated. Uh-oh. There's the hit. But Fishy's in a spot where, like, maybe after he dumps his first clip, the idea was he's giving a hold down to his
That's really impressive by Vervi, being able to do that.
Yeah, the question is, did they communicate that they are actually hitting someone? Because he's not firing anymore.
Oh, here we go.
Shots on the Demonic.
Yeah, on the Demonic. Actually, really interesting also to point out that Demonic is actually playing. This is the first time he's played. He's been on the roster for FHS for a while, but he has not played. This is the first night he's actually played, at least that we've seen. That I can remember.
So this is maybe the Spidey senses are going for Jack's AFK, because they have to figure out, is this something feels off? The Super Conqueror lit. They know the E5 is up high. Oh, and the E5 takes a shot of damage.
Yeah,
and
Knight
gets
taking
another
some damage here, a lot actually, going down to 1300, and Floppy trying to get some shots out too. Looks like he got safe there. The problem with playing that rock is also like the IS-7 could potentially get shots out onto you as well. So you have to kind of like make sure you're not getting hit for 2 angles. But the Bat Chat and the Bat Chat actually flex back to the STB, which is really interesting here. We've seen the Super Conqueror coming out, so it looks like they're actually going to maybe try to do a 2-cap here. They only have 5 minutes.
They have to sniff this. Like they clearly were sniffing something was off, and they don't like it. But the weird thing was, once the E5 started taking damage and the Super Conqueror, it almost became a, yeah, come on. So
actually,
if
so
they
the HP,
the bait, they probably would lose.
Right, exactly. And so the HP may look in kind of equal, but technically it isn't actually, because FHS had a lot more HP in the beginning of the game coming into this, as you know, they have like solid heavies, and now you have to remember that Jack's AFK has a STB and a Bat Chat, so and most of their heavies are full HP here. So if they end up using these heavies to their advantage with the DPM of the STB and the clip potential of the Bat Chat, they could come out winning this attack for them.
Yeah, it's So now that FHS knows that they've left, they've started to adjust, and they're realizing, yeah, okay, they're not going to come this way. If they start rotating their heavies back now,
right? They had Vova poke that to make sure.
Left. They know that there's not going to be a 1-cap play at this point. It would have happened earlier, and so now, as long as they get back in time, they just have 6 heavies. But they, like you said, they bled some HP, and there's that clip potential, especially in the batch. If that batch hat's able to, when they make this push, able to get an isolation,
that was really interesting.
Get his clip out, then they can win.
That was really interesting sign language there from Captain Jack.
From Captain Jack. Yeah,
I also want to point out
via turret swivel.
Yeah, so Demonic is playing for FHS, and then you have basically a stacked roster coming out from Jack as AFK. You have Brett's playing, Ox is playing, Coma, Vervi, Floppy, and Captain Jack. And it looks like Wally is not playing tonight, or maybe not in this match,
or maybe not in this round, or
maybe not for this map.
We've seen that.
I think it might be for this map.
Swaps.
Well, I know Captain Jack can call large format. Maybe he's comfortable in large format with steps, and he's gonna try to call small format. They did not take any bleed for that, which is really bad for
hurts
FHS.
A bit. Yeah. Them not getting anything. The Kron not able to.
They didn't get anything. Like Ox is perfect. You're gonna be hold down. Coma is on the cap. They're starting this pressure. Brett's gonna be looking to kind of sneak in behind the lines once this starts getting a little bit crazy. What we've seen before is people playing the offside on steps oftentimes have to play really far away, right? In order to be safe to come in. And we've actually talked about this before where we've seen like Kronvagons and Bad Chats just like literally come in so late that it was like, what? Like, you have to be really careful. When you play this offside, you have to really be careful how you play it, because there's been a lot of times that we've seen teams just like lose because the offside guy couldn't get in fast enough because of how far he has to play away from his team. And it looks like Brett is
playing that offside here for Jack as AFK. And as far as the offside bat chat, there's very few that I would consider to be potentially better than Brett at that particular role. He's he has very good instincts when it comes to this, and trying to make sure that he's doing exactly the things that you were talking about. In about 50 seconds remain on the cap, and they're just bleeding the time, looks like FHS, before they make a judgment call. And you saw Brett spotted the 113. 113 got lit, didn't spot anything back. He knows it's a bad chat.
Well, Brett actually did that for vision, so that the Super Conk and the STB can actually come up. Right. When Flounder goes for resets, which he will do, he's going to take so much bleed for it that it might be a Jack
and
as AFK.
And there's the reset.
Here.
He does take a shot, but this is going to have to be a push from Jack as AFK. The cap's not a realistic option anymore. And you're right, Captain Jack getting a nice turret shot there on Flounder as well. Very now leading the charge. Chase poking up, taking some damage, and they will focus down Flounder just like Smiley called it.
And Flounder is going to go down here with Demonic coming in, and Brett instantly, like you said, there's not really that many Batchat players better. He sees the E5 and he's clippable, and he goes, well, I'm going to clip this E5, because even if he messes one up, he still has 2 and he can get the kill. Right here, looking to secure the kill, and he's going to try to get safe here. He might end up having to just dump the clip because he might end up dying here. This is actually isn't that bad, even though if he dies here, he's still got a full clip out, and a lot of those heavies. He's probably yelling at Floppy right now.
Oh, he is definitely yelling. He's like, you. Oh my God, Floppy, I swear to God, no. But Floppy now coming in with Ox. They need to focus Chase down, not let Chase get another clip out. There's 37 seconds remaining. Demonic is one shot to Captain Jack, or close to one shot. He's a 2-shot, and Captain Jack's actually one shot to him. If he can pick him, if the 113
Coma, Floppy, and Ox need to kill this. And while the Super Conk and Captain Jack kill the 113, like they have to. They have to kill. They can't let Vova get away. Ox has to. I don't know what the HP on the. Okay, so Ox definitely can kill Fishy unless he messes up really badly.
There's 10 seconds. I think Very will make it in time to get a shot in, and Captain Jack is just trying to stay alive and wait for Very. That Demonic does pick up Captain Jack. If he can just not be penned,
win by time.
And Vova's alive too at the end. My goodness, I was just watching the top of my screen. I assumed Vova would be dead. It was all about that, and the Super Conk was just not quite quick enough.
Man, I kind of got tilted watching that because Brett was literally getting shot by the entire team, and the heavies just weren't going in. They just needed to push at that point.
I think the Kron and VZ were still clipping, but yeah, I think you're right.
Even though they were still clipping, they just needed to go because the other guys were still clipping and they had less HP. You know what I mean?
They needed Flounder especially, or not Flounder,
Yeah.
sorry, Very especially because at the end of that fight, you saw Captain Jack trying to 1v1 in 113, and they basically tied, but the 113 won. And it was just the Super Conqueror had HP, but he's just too slow at the end to get some of those cleanup kills. But then even on the bottom, look at the end. You said, hey, let's not. Hey, Ox did 4,500, yada yada yada. Ox is a good player, blah blah blah. Demonic in his debut performance for FHS, 2,200 and survives with a kill.
Right.
Let's have a different type of player highlight. Your friend Demonic, who you like to at times, let's say, use colorful language to describe his play. In his decision making.
No, but I'll point out that he was actually scrimming with them, and he was and so he was actually playing a lot that night, and so
that's a good point, Smiley. So this happens on teams sometimes. I've been there when it happens. You have a scrim schedule, and you said FHS are trying to scrim a bunch. You may have a player that's quote-unquote better, been there longer, whatever.
Right.
And then someone else comes in and it's like, yeah, but you couldn't be there for the last 2 scrims where we were practicing our new strat. And he was.
Yep.
Exactly. You can always rotate him later in the match if you decide, but that's a way for team people to get in. And important bench player, important late addition Demonic, not just, someone to be, coming in really clutch there.
Just from our POV, which is a heads up POV, we don't know how the comms were, we don't know what was called, but I think that when Brett went in like that and how much damage he was taking, I think that the 3 heavies on his side, Coma, Floppy, and Ox just needed to go in. I know Ox got out of the way. Ox got out of the way. Did you notice that? But I think it's because Ox and Brett are so synergized. You know what I mean? Like Ox just instant got out of the way. It really did kind of look like Floppy got in his way there. If Floppy would have dipped down, he could have got out because he literally got stuck between them. And it's one of those things. And
then Brett's able to go to at least at the end would have been able to go to the middle to at least help the 113 at the end.
Yep.
And that would have at least alleviated that. Because then the Super Conqueror would have been down there on the low ground killing then they would win.
Yep.
But there's other things that could have been done differently. But that's a really important one.
That's a really important one. I think so. And now we're going to the second match tank picks with FHS on attack and Jack has AFK on defense. Looks like they are bringing a Superconk STB, 2 Batchats, a Kron, and an IS-7 from Jack as AFK, while FHS brings a IS-7 Kron, Superconk Batchat, 5A, and a Sturv on attack. Which is really interesting.
It's FHS. I'm surprised it's not 268 version 4 with it to help the. I assume they would have some strategy.
I'm guessing they do pushed. I bet you they're doing a hard 2-cap. That'd be a really hard 2-cap strat, like from the get-go.
And just pen the turret from.
Or it's gonna be like a fake, like a feint, and like they bring in the Sturv for like rails or something. I have no idea. You know what I mean?
He could even stay south and be just a really, pseudo mobile gun that can really punish anyone that goes into that southern end. It's still versatile. Like I think the Sturv is not like a bad tank on steps attack in particular. On defense, you'd have to in the end because the defending team doesn't have the luxury of deciding where the fight is always, right?
Right.
But the Wheezy 5A, that is an odd pick to me. Can you maybe explain that?
Oh, the which one?
The 5A. From Fishy.
So
why?
So the 5A has 8 degrees, and it does have more DPM than the 277.
It does.
So they might, it's steps, small format. He doesn't really have to shoot far, right? So I think they brought it.
Play the 5A. I can make it miss real easy, Smiley, and I loved that tick. But we've seen it fall out of favor, I guess is what I'm trying to say, right? It's not really brought particularly often. And when it first came out, it was brought a lot. But why not a 113?
And so it looks like
because the frontal turret.
It looks like I am somehow right again. It looks like they're playing super hard into the 2-cap chase, getting clipped out by the adversary Kronwagen for all his HP. The Coma has gotten up into the corner. They are trying to hard push the 2-cap, and I guess the Sturv gave it away.
Brett can really lay in the punish here, and Chase is the furthest one out front. He's actually getting pushed. He's just going to go down immediately to the double bat. Brett and Floppy were ready, and that is so much punish. They need to just not overpoke. They get their damage out, and look, even Fova's taking a bunch of punish. Now they're pushed off. This is Jackie's AFK's win. This is decisive. I mean, Koma's still full. No, he's taking a shot or two. He will die, but the bats are gonna run.
I guess what you could say is if I as a caster can predict the strat, that's kind of bad. Because, like, I literally just predicted it. I said that they were going to push really hard into the 2-cap and use the Sturf as an anchor, and they just brought Koma into that corner, which is very strong, and it's really hard to pick, and they finally pick him, but there's a 5k HP difference as they pick Koma, and it's basically just GG at that point. So what do you think? I
think their heavies had to be faster if they were going in there. Granted, the Kron would still get the clip out, but like they just didn't have. They weren't there early enough because the i7 was still able to get in the corner. But even then, you pointed out a good point. It can be really telegraphed, and I'd say you're right. When I see that lineup, we're gonna prepare for the South, and then adjust.
Yeah, I think that that's basically what I wanted to point out is like. But, you know, we started getting into the game, but, like, I basically wanted to point out, like, all they have to do, right, is play South, and if it doesn't happen in the first 2 minutes, obviously they're doing something weird with the Sturv, right? Mm-hmm. I would say that if you don't play the Sturv on this hill, then most likely he's going to do something weird in, like, middle. Like, you would have, like, the IS-7, like, clear middle for him or something like that, you know what I mean? Just something weird. Or he could even go on the 1-cap. I don't know, you know, depending on if they clear north. That's like the only two things I could think of at the top of my head.
No, that's pretty much it. It would have been like, the only thing I was thinking was like H5 to shoot the tank that would go into the D line to get spots on the cap. But even then, you know, you can do that without it being a Sturv.
Right, and he did get damage out, but it was more the fact that, I mean, just Chase just got picked for free. Even getting pushed, so both teams dealing with their team kind of pushing them in a way, right? Or keeping them from getting safe, which is just unfortunate.
Yeah.
And so I don't really know. I think what the purpose of the 5A was that mid-game. It was a mid-game thought that, hey, if we bring a 277, he's not going to be able to play the ridges, right?
Yes.
Once we take the 2-cap. So
you're 100% right, actually, because and even a 113, like while 113 has the side gun depression, playing on that zero line low ground on that ridge, 113's not going to work, especially with other tanks. It's just it's the gun depression, although it has it on the side, is just not going to work. So
I'm guessing
very good judgment. By
I guess I'm guessing what their purpose was you know they were going to secure the area that they fought for and ended up losing, and they were going to use the 5A in the bowl to get that gun depression so that, you know, where Flounder played last game, right, was on the opposite side, that 5A could play into that bowl and, like, keep that guy down. Or if that guy goes for pokes, he gets damaged, but he's also able to get damage on the side of the Super Conk turret, right? He can also pen the turret ring of the Super Conk because it's 300 and 340 heat. Keck W is memes. But then on top of that, right, I think that it was the fact that he could still be in a brawl. Right? Because the thing is, when you bring somebody on the offside, so basically Jack is AFK, their strat is basically how you do a 2-cap strat, right? That's like what would you call it? What was that word you used where it was like wow, I can't believe, oh, you know, like she's nutzel.
I say a lot of things.
Yeah, no, you're basically no, basically what I was trying to say is that you could see it coming. You could see the strat being
telegraphed.
Thank you, telegraphed. Yeah, thank you, telegraphed. And so
and then the 500 IQ play is to telegraph it and then do the exact opposite, just to screw with people's brains.
Psychology,
and then you lose anyway because you go, you know what, this was awful to begin with, and now
no, but anyways,
we outcall ourselves.
So Jack is AFK brought a non-telegraphical strat and then played the 2-cap, right? And
Do you think they even changed their lineup at the last second after they saw some of the picks? I don't even know. I think that's their normal lineup.
I don't think they did.
Because double bat was not normal for them, I think, anymore.
Right. I think one of the bats was the last pick, right?
If it was the last pick, then yeah, I think they were like, we know kind of what do we want?